So something a little different for the channel. I'm recording myself. Not sure how often I'll do this. I'm making this mainly because I want to talk about something that's I've learned in the last 5 years or so, and that's kind of facing fears, things you're scared of. Around sometime before COVID, 2018, something like that, they had a thing in town here, and you could go up in a helicopter and like half hour, something like that, whatever it was. And I always heard relatives, people I trusted, things like that. They always said like, "Oh, those things are the engine stalls. You're just gonna fall like a brick." Anyway, I got home, just got a little curious, and I was to dug around on YouTube. Found this video this guy Smart Every Day did, and basically he even showed that this does not happen, and because this auto rotate concept basically simplistically kind of just you follow the blades go even if it's without the engine. And I went back there to try and do that, and after I learned that, and they were closing up for the day, and then COVID came, all that stuff. And sometime around 2020-ish, 2019, a couple coworkers, one gal started like horse riding, small business on the side thing, and they kept trying to talk me into them, but I kind of knew growing up, just going through fairs and things that they were kind of they kicked things like that, and they were big and kind of scary and could do whatever. And I knew again somebody that we went to school with, and they were into racing and things like that, and racing horses that is. And I heard different things that happened, and I was just like, these things are crazy. And but then my coworkers kept trying to tell me I should try this, and at the time I was also hoping to go for an higher up management position at work, and I trusted this one person at work and trying to talk me into trying this, and I thought maybe they saw something in it, and maybe it'd be something I could apply into progressing my career. And I tried it. First time I was like, I just grabbed a saddle horn for nearly a whole hour or so, and at the end it started to get a little fast walk going, and I was like, I was a little more comfortable then, and I just let go of the saddle, grabbed the reins, like, probably better. And as soon as I let go and grabbed the reins, it was just like, I felt like I was flying. And it was, recall that just disappeared. And then I ended up going on a little bit more. Went for another ride just to see what it was like, not actually having to go through that again. And I enjoyed it. And then that place had a river you can go riding through, so I ended up doing that like the third or fourth time I went riding. And at some point, I ended up talking to somebody, I think it was a friend I grew up with, and they started teaching me different terms, trots and canters, things like that. And I wanted to get a little more comfortable, at least to run a camera and ride and things like that. And I was kind of having fun with it. And so they started offering lessons at that place I was going. And then, at least in the summer, every week or so, kind of, it just, and my book was like better than going to a bar or whatever a lot of people would do. And I just went out there and rode for an hour or so. Occasionally two if it didn't end up on an odd week or whatever, but and then things happened. That place quit doing that stuff. I ended up finding another place 2 or 3 years ago and started working with some other horses. And now I'm doing Liberty work with them, trot canters, all bareback, different patterns, needlepoint patterns, serpentines, going over cavaletti, things like that. And when I started it, I never would have imagined what this would have been. And someday I wouldn't even mind having one on my own horse. And I guess the other thing, kind of on a side track, but sort of relevant to this, was a lot of people, it's like, I thought these things were kind of goofy and dangerous, but the other part of me is like, the most dangerous thing you do every day, most people don't think of, is driving a car. You're driving basically equivalent of a basically huge military cannon down the road. And something can go wrong just like that, and you don't know. And the other part was, like, I've heard people say if they're gonna go out, they'd rather go out doing something they love. I've heard people say that about horses. I've been doing electronic stuff since I was like 8 years old, doing battery type circuits, things like that. In high school, I was started in a class and it was wiring GFI outlets and light switches, things like that. And then I got my own house and I was working on breaker boxes. And after the first few times, it's like, if you know how to do it safely, you're usually pretty good. And I rewired the whole house and things like this. This is a capacitor out of like an old motor, or I should probably have an old like ballast, a big mercury vapor light. These things are pretty dangerous if you don't have them discharged. But these things, they, to most people, that electricity's scary. But I just like the horse thing, I found out once you start to learn these things and you learn how to do them safely, it's not that big a deal. And a lot of people are scared of electricity. To me, that's, or even computers, which I don't understand. At one time I was too, a little bit, but like most times a computer, and the worst, you could be hacked possibly, but usually the worst thing that can happen is you corrupt the system, it gets reloaded, and that's the end of it. The scary stuff, that's a different story, but I'm gonna leave that alone. And just another electrical thing. This is, I'm hoping to someday make a Tesla coil out of this thing. And a lot of people would think those things are dangerous and scary and things like that. If you start small, if you can practice and get your concepts, and as long as you know electricity or driving or horses or whatever, as long as you have an understanding and you respect the stuff, you're most likely going to be fine, even if a basic understanding. You know what to do and not to do, and you have decent gear, screwdrivers or whatever, that you're not going to get shocked doing something goofy with. You should be fine. And a lot of these things, it's like the injuries you get, it's like, say you're soldering, you burn yourself, or you're opening a radio or something and the screwdriver slips and you scrape your hand or something. That's more often what I've found a lot of these things are. It's not really the thing you think about that's scary, it's just the goofy things. I think that's all I got, but see how you like that. Maybe I'll do some more of these in the future, I don't know yet. But I'm just hoping that this will help some people do whatever they might be fearing at the moment. And I was so scared of horses at first, and then I figured maybe if I end up liking it, maybe do it once in a while. I honestly didn't think it would end up how it has, so just kind of goes to show you don't know until you try something. And I'm hoping if it comes back, I'll go up in a helicopter now. If I ever have the chance, I would be really cool if it was in the fall or spring or something. Fall would be kind of cool, would be better colors, but I think spring would be kind of cool too to see. But it'd be something cool to do and hope to do someday. But I think the regret from not doing that and other things in the past, I finally got fed up with it and I was like, and the horse thing kind of figured I'd regret too. And I was also right on that too, because I rode this horse. They said, oh, you should ride this horse. I've had her for so many years, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And my gut said something about I almost checking out riding the horse. And my gut said, don't do it, you'll regret it. Sure enough, I rode. And like 3, 4 months after, that horse had to be put down for some kind of medical emergency or something like that. And I saw I was right. So do these things while you can, I guess.